They blocked the old man at a general's funeral. Then the four-star general stopped everything for him. The old man had served his country for many years and was well respected by everyone. However, he had recently retired and moved to a nursing home. One day, the old man was watching the news when he heard that one of his old friends, General Clayton, had passed away. He felt sad because he hadn't seen his friend in a long time, and he knew that this was probably the last time he would ever see him. The old man decided that he wanted to go to the funeral, but he didn't have anyone to drive him there. So he called up his son, who was busy with work, and asked if he could take him. "I want to go to General Clayton's funeral," he said. "Can you drive me there?" "Dad, I'm sorry, but I can't take you," his son replied. "I have an important meeting to attend." The old man sighed and hung up the phone. He didn't understand why his son would be so busy all the time. It seemed like he never had any time for his father anymore. The old man tried calling his other son, but he got the same response. All of his sons were too busy to take him to the funeral. The old man sat down in his chair and started to cry. He felt abandoned and alone. He had dedicated his life to serving his country and had made many friends along the way. But now it seemed like no one cared about him. He took out his phone and called his best friend from the Army, General William Clayton. But the call went straight to voicemail. The old man left a message, but he knew that his friend would probably never listen to it. As the hours passed, the old man grew more and more upset. He felt like no one cared about him or his well-being. Just when he was about to give up hope, he heard a knock at the door. He opened it and saw a group of soldiers standing there. "Sir," said one of them, "General Clayton's sons asked us to come and get you. They want you to attend their father's funeral." The old man's heart skipped a beat. Could this be the moment he had been waiting for? Was someone finally going to care about him? He quickly agreed and got into the car. The ride to the funeral home was filled with silence. The old man couldn't help but feel a sense of foreboding. What if no one actually cared about him and they had just invited him out of pity? As they arrived at the funeral home, the old man saw a large crowd of people gathered outside. Some of them were crying, while others stood with their heads held high. He felt a lump in his throat as he realized that this was probably the last time he would ever see his friend. The funeral was held in a large church. The old man sat in the front row, and as the service began, he listened intently to the words being spoken. He thought back to all the times he had spent with his friend and all the adventures they had shared. Couldn't believe that he was gone. During the service, the old man saw several familiar faces. Some of them were people he had served with, while others were former colleagues. He waved to them, and they returned the gesture with a smile. It felt good to be remembered, but it also made him realize how much time had passed since he had last seen them. As the service came to an end, the old man stood up and walked towards the coffin. He wanted to pay his respects to his friend one last time. He placed a hand on the coffin and closed his eyes. "Rest in peace, my friend," he whispered. As he turned to leave, he heard a voice behind him. "Sir, we'd like to speak with you." The old man turned around and saw 4 men in uniform standing there. "Sure," he replied, puzzled. The 4 men were generals, and they had all served under General Clayton. "We wanted to thank you for coming to the funeral," said the senior-most general. "It means a lot to us that you were here to say goodbye to our commander." "Of course," replied the old man. "I wouldn't miss it for the world. General Clayton was a great man and a true hero. I was honored to serve with him." The generals nodded their heads in agreement. "We know how much he admired you, sir," said one of them. "He often spoke of your bravery and dedication to the army." The old man blushed at the praise, but he knew that it was well-deserved. He had served his country for many years and had seen his fair share of combat. He had always put the safety of his fellow soldiers first, and that had earned him the respect of his peers. "We're sorry it's taken us so long to visit you," said another general. "We've been busy with the funeral arrangements and haven't had much time to spare. But we wanted to let you know how much General Clayton appreciated your service." "It was my honor to serve alongside him," replied the old man. "He was a great leader and an even better friend. I will miss him dearly." The generals nodded their heads in understanding. They had all served under General Clayton and knew how much of a positive influence he had been on their lives. As the conversation continued, the old man learned that the generals had been planning a surprise for him. "We've all chipped in to buy you this," said one of them, presenting him with a box. The old man opened it, and his eyes lit up. Inside was a collection of medals and commendations that he had received during his service. I don't know what to say," he stammered. "You shouldn't have done this. I don't feel worthy of such an honor." "Nonsense," replied the senior-most general. You have more than earned these honors. I just wanted to show you how much we appreciate your service." The old man's eyes welled up with tears as he realized the truth in the general's words. He had served his country with honor and had made many close friends along the way. As the sun began to set, the old man knew it was time to go. He thanked the generals for their hospitality and for honoring him with the surprise. He knew that he would treasure the gesture for the rest of his life. As he drove home, the old man couldn't help but reflect on his life. He had served in the army for many years and had seen both the best and worst of humanity. But through it all, he had come out stronger and more determined than ever. He had made lifelong friends and had been honored with many medals and commendations. When he arrived home, the old man sat down in his chair and looked at the medals. He knew that they were more than just pieces of metal. They were a symbol of his service, of his dedication to his country and to his fellow man. He had given his all to the army and had never regretted it for a moment. The old man smiled as he thought about all the memories he had made over the years. He had served with some of the bravest and most honorable people he had ever met, and he knew that he had made a difference in the world. The old man had always believed that his service was done. He had retired and moved to the nursing home, content with the life he had lived. But when he attended General Clayton's funeral, he was reminded of the impact he had made on the world. He was no longer just an old man in a nursing home. He was a veteran, a hero, a friend. As the old man drifted off to sleep that night, he couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. He had served his country with honor and had made a difference in the world. He knew that his legacy would live on, not in the medals or the commendations, but in the hearts of those he had served with.